This a survival story, influential record story, DJ Firestar story. I'm not new to this story. Hey, wow, wow. Yo, this is Baby Sham and you're locked in to DJ Firestar. Can you hear me? Influential records. Can you hear me? I got my click to the rear of it. Almost 2 years ago, we under lockdown. Bang it. Let's go. Let's get into it.
DJ Firestar keeping it smashed.
DJ Firestar, Spotify, influential records. I'm not new to this, all of that. And I got my guy, my brother, the legend, dancehall legend, ragga legend, my guy Sham, baby Sham. I don't know if we've dropped the Sham now, the baby from the Sham now. What are we saying, Sham?
Yeah, we rocking with all.
Yeah?
It's baby Sham, it's whichever, you know what I mean? It's whichever they're feeling comfortable with, you know what I mean? It's always been Sham, it's always been baby Sham, so it's all good.
The last 13 months or so for you, tell us a little bit about how things have been for you, and more importantly, you know, from somebody who's been in the game so long, any advice or words you could give to people who have maybe gone through some mental struggles in the last year and a half, financial, or, you know, they've suffered loss as well, my bro?
Well, everyone knows for the last probably almost 2 years, you know what I mean? It has been hard for everyone, you know what I mean? It has been a change for everyone. Some people probably financially they kind of made it out even better, and they have to be on the top of the food chain to make it out better. You have a lot of us in the middle of the food chain that have to be juggling and balancing and trying to make sure things stay afloat. And then you have so many of us at the bottom of the food chain that has been suffering. You know what I mean? And for me personally, it has been more like missing that connection with the fan base. You know what I mean? We couldn't get to go and perform, and a lot of us as musicians, just like yourself, we don't take it for granted, but you don't really realize how much you really miss it. Because sometimes you're on tour for like the whole year and you're saying, yo, I need a week for myself. But then when you realize the other day you're missing the fans for like almost a year and change, going on 2 years without interacting and performing, and not just only the fans, but just that environment, the smell, the microphone, the drums behind you, the keyboards, you know what I mean? Just that whole setup. You kind of miss that setup, you know what I mean? Apart from that, just the fan base and a whole, you kind of see a lot of our people suffering, especially in Jamaica and the Caribbean, where they don't have the support of like a first world country that can really support them with stimulus checks or some form of support. So they have to really been like just trying to be creative, you know what I mean? No job, they can't get to go to work, but at the same time, a lot of them lose their jobs, and especially the dancehall and reggae industry. You know, the dancehall and reggae industry is not just the artists or the soundmen or the promoters. You have like the flyer girls, the flyer males, the promotional girls that go out and promote records, that dance in the parties. You have the jerk chicken man, you have the weed man. You have the soup lady. You have the person that sells the marijuana. You know what I mean? You have the person that sells the gums, the candies in the parties. And these people go to the dancehall setting 7 nights a week in Jamaica, and that's their living. So without that and the curfew and the lockdown, they have been suffering. So the whole industry and the whole has been suffering. You know what I mean? Especially those people that are on the tail end of the industry. Not the musicians, not the artists, not the promoters. You're talking about the people that really make up the dancehall industry, which a lot of people don't really pay attention to them a lot. You know
it really spirals down, like you were saying, you know, to the
like a domino effect.
Yeah.
It's like a domino effect from the top all the way down, and we benefit a lot from it because this music has done so much for me. You know what I mean? This music has taken me out of poverty, taken me out of the ghetto, and allow me to kind of live and live my life, how I live my life, and allow my family to live their lives in a good way. But then you have so many people that this music take care of that are not musicians, you know what I mean? But they make up that reggae and dancehall space. And without them, it's not the same.
Yeah.
You can't go to a dancehall or a reggae show or a reggae party or a dancehall party without seeing the jerk chicken man outside, you know what I mean? Without seeing the soup man outside, without seeing the soup lady, without seeing the person that sells the ganja, without seeing the Wrigley's person or the candy lady. You know what I mean? These are the people that really benefit from the whole entertainment space of dancehall and reggae music that the government of Jamaica don't pay enough attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, for you in that time then, are you somebody who, have you focused more on, have you taken time out, or are you more trying to spend time to be creative and make, I mean, we're going to talk about the new music, of course, but how heavy have you been creating as opposed to taking time because you can, essentially, to take time, right? What's it been like for you?
Yo, it's been weird. It's been strange because when you get that time off, you expect to kind of let your creative juices just flow because you're not on the road. But it's been hard because everything that was coming up creatively was surrounded. It was influenced by the whole pandemic, and you don't want everything on your record to sound one way. You know what I mean? That's how you know you miss traveling. That's how you know you miss seeing the fans. You miss going out. You miss going to other cities, other countries, and just going into the clubs and seeing what they're feeling. And that's how you normally get inspired. You know what I mean? And then you take all of that mixture and you take it back to your lab, and then you mix that up with your dancehall and your reggae flavor. And this is how we get big records like This Is Why I'm At. This is how we get the Ghetto Stories, the Vitamin S. You know what I mean? All of this didn't just come from the being in Jamaica, just looking around in Jamaica and being in your home or in your backyard. So for me, it was hard. It was hard, but you kind of find ways how to kind of channel your energy and learn how to enjoy your own space. You know what I mean? So for me, it was always in the backyard, just in the pool, or the music always bumping. When I beats, when I was listening to some classic mixes, when I listening to DJs like yourself just spinning online. You know what I mean? Yeah. And this is how you kind of just look at it like a reset button. You understand? But how many of us or how many people out there that really support us of that type of backyard? You know what I mean?
That kind of luxury. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have to look at it like they allowed us to live this way. You know what I mean? Even though we put in a lot of hard work, but they are the ones that buy the tickets. You know what I mean? So you still tend to reflect back on that side at the end of the day. But for me, it was us all in the backyard, non-stop, just playing music, listening beats, just trying picking coconuts. You name it.
I think it's because of the duration. You know, I remember speaking to Sean Paul, and at first, very early on, I spoke to him last year, and he was taking time. You know, it was very much I'm taking time. But then we've seen that because this has been going on for so long, there was only so much time he could take. You know, the same with, you know, the UK artist that I was speaking to recently by the name of RV. He said to me, Firestar, you know, who wants to hear me make records about being stuck at home? It's not what people want to hear.
It's too much. Yeah. So at first it was cool because you got to just chill. You just chill for a bit, and a lot of us, you know this, in our industry, we live out of suitcases and out of hotels and planes and buses, you know what I mean? And at first, for the first month, you was like, you know what? This is cool. I really can put in some writing and put in some work and, you know what I mean, spend some family time. But then after 2, 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, 1 year, you're like, what?
It's long.
This is like everything that you would depend on to inspire you is gone. You have to be looking at the news, and everything on the news is depressing.
Yeah.
You have to be looking in your household and how much you're going to write about what's in your household. You know what I mean? So now you have to start looking at Instagram, what other people is doing. Is it real? You know what I mean? Can people really relate to this? Because we are like a mirror of society. Whatever society reflects, we tend to reflect it back with melodies, words, and music. You know what I mean? So it was weird, bro. Super, super weird. And I'm glad we're finally kind of seeing some form of light at the end of the tunnel, because now we have had concerts back to back for the past 2 weeks.
Right.
We did Bridgeport, Connecticut week before last week, and this past weekend we did Houston, Texas, and Dallas, Texas, and everything was sold out.
Yeah.
So you know that people are just hungry to just get out back and see their favorite artists, or even if it's not their favorite artist, just to go there for just 1 hour or 2 hours, just to get entertained and take their mind off all the frustrations of this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been frustrating, but they say only salvation lasts forever. So hopefully we can come out of this even stronger and more happier. You know what I mean? And now probably we won't take our happiness or our freedom for granted.
100%. Yeah, big.
Enjoy more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big facts. And I want to, we're talking about the dancehall culture and the lifestyle, and I want to take it back with you. Growing up for me, I've been in the game a long time. I look like a young guy, but I've been in it a long time. And I remember growing up as a DJ, and I couldn't get away from the 85 rhythm, the Fiesta rhythm, the Cham bangers, right? I couldn't. Dancehall grew on me. I'm a rap guy, and dancehall now, I'm fully immersed as well. But it took some time. But I couldn't be in a dance and not hear those rhythms, the big ones, the main ones, you could say, and hearing about you. Now, the question that I've got for you is a bit more of a deeper one. And again, this is a question I've specifically spoken to Cranium, I've heard this from, and also Sean Paul. And it's about the respect for dancehall, right? And these are two brothers that are very vocal about how they feel there has been a lack of respect or accreditation given to the dancehall culture for a lot of the music we hear, the lifestyle worldwide. I think it's improved a touch, but how do you feel about that? Do you feel dancehall is underappreciated? Do you think it's improving? What's your take on that?
My take on it is a little bit different. I think first we have to start respecting our own genre. You know what I mean? In terms of all the artists coming together as one. You know what I mean? I think if dancehall music and reggae music has been, if it was like that from day one, there's no way no one could have stepped in and used it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we ourselves have to start coming together more. You need to see more tours with more major headlines acts, and not just Cham by himself, not just Buju by himself, not just Shaggy by himself, or Sean Paul by himself, or Cranium by himself. You need to say a Shaggy, Sean Paul, Cham, Buju, Bounty Killer, Beenie Man, Barry Salmon, Sanchez, Wayne Wonder. You need to see more of these. And when people start seeing us showing that unity within our genre, then they'll take us a little bit more serious. You know what I mean? In terms of how they try to use dancehall music and not credit us over the years, I've seen it a lot. You know what I mean? I've seen it a lot. But at the end of the day, no publicity is bad publicity. You know what I mean? So when they use it, somewhere out there, people are going to know that this is coming from the character. This is coming from dancehall. This is coming from reggae. I wish they would show us a little more love and more appreciation. If you're taking from something to enhance what you are doing, give the respect to the foundation. You know what I mean? To where you took it from. Give the respect to it. So, but I think it has much more to do with us than them. We have to come together as a whole music fraternity and show that we can work in unity. You know what I mean? Instead of just trying to be that one man. You know what I mean? What about 30 of us out there wrecking the world? You know what I mean? Because we did UK tour. I was doing the UK tour 2 years ago. I was going to do it by myself. I knew we could pack 1,400, 1,500 venues. That's what we normally do by myself. Taras was going to do it on his own also. He normally gets 18 to 1,900. And we came together and said we were going to do it together. And together now, we were going to do only O2 arenas. And those are 5,000.
Huge.
And we hooked up with a promoter and we did it together. We hooked up with Flames Radio, and we did it together. And every venue, Liverpool, Manchester, Bristol, London, I don't want to forget anyone at all. But every O2 arena was fully sold out even before we landed in the UK. And that's just us coming together.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it by myself. Taurus couldn't do it by himself. But that shows you what unity brings, you know what I mean? And we had a young artist at the opening the concert every night by the name of Jamil.
Right.
And he got an audience that he couldn't get by himself. You're
Yeah.
talking about a Taurus Riley audience, a Baby Sham audience coming together. You know what I mean? And that was good for him, but we need more of that. We need to see a headline, one of these tour headlines with Shaggy, Sean Paul, Sham, Spice, Cranium.
We need the link
Just
up.
Five, Ding Dong,
Yes.
Popcorn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Popcorn. Look, just something that people can say, oh, yo, this drops in. We can drop that in the Wembley Stadium, brother.
Fully.
You understand? But you need that. You need to put the egos aside.
You need
I
to
know that the
connection.
Yeah, I know that the music is bigger than all of us. And this is the reason why Bob Marley was so big. He used to tour with Bunny Wheeler, Peter Touch. So it's not that Bob Marley was just huge by himself. These individuals were huge individuals also. You know what I mean? But they came together and did it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's missing instead of us just blaming other people. Yeah, we know when they're culture. And we know when they take when they steal from us and they don't give us credit. But we need to show that we can work in one unit also. You know what I mean? And I think we can do more than them.
Yeah, 100%, man. Definitely. We need more link ups, man. You know
Yeah, man, more link up, brother. More link up. We need to have more DJs touring together. The Tony Matarans with the fire links, with the copper shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
DJs from the UK is linking up with the Jamaican DJs just the same and touring. It's not just about one, it's not just about two. This is so huge. We all can be in it.
Yeah.
And all of us can't be the same place every day. So it's so huge, but a lot of people just want to hold it.
They want to hold what they have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you, my bro. Want you to pick a record from your catalog for me, for us to play, and off the top of your head, I want you to break down the record you've selected, your reason why you're picking this record right now. You know, maybe it's powerful in your catalog, maybe it's the one that means the most to you. You know, and we're gonna play this one. So I want you to tell me your first selection and the story behind the record that you've picked.
Just off the top of my head,
Joyride. Yeah, man.
Joyride. The record is Joyride featuring Wayne Wonder, produced by the great Dave Kelly. I think it was released in 1996. 1996 December. I was a kid just coming out of high school. And the reason why I picked this record, no song, no line in this record was written. Everything was just straight from the door. Dave was driving at the time he had a Suzuki Amigo, and we were driving to this party in Jamaica called Frenchmen. And the party is held in Portland on the beach, a beach called Frenchman Cove. Very popular beach. And we were driving there and he was bouncing this beat. Everything, it was different. It wasn't like the typical dancehall.
Right. Yeah.
But it was different, and Wayne Wonder was just singing. Taking a ride. Just singing, and Dave asked me to just freestyle whatever came to my head. And I freestyle just what came to my head when I'm cruising around with a Jeep full of homies. You don't want to introduce me to the mommies. So want me pack up and come over with my luggage. And if you listen to the delivery, it's really an old school delivery, because to me at the time, the beat sounded like old school type of beat. And I wanted to just give it what it felt like to me. And it was freestyle, everything, no line was written. And it became one of the biggest songs in the history of dancehall music. It sold over 500,000 records. And it was my first gold plaque, you know what I mean? So that's the first one that came to my head. Joyride, featuring Wayne Wonder, produced by the great legend Dave Kelly from Madhouse Records.
We're going to get into that one. Let's keep it moving. I want to get into a second one from you, Sham. Straight selection from you, a second record from yourself to set the tone. Break it down for me and the record you've gone with, brother.
I'd have to go with Babylon Boy.
Talk
So
about it.
Babylon Boy changed the whole culture in Jamaica. You know what I mean? In terms of how, at the time, the police was going, it's like right now, where we are watching the news every day and you see police all over the world just going the range and people for nothing at all. And at the time in Jamaica, it's like the police feel like they had too much control and too much power. And we decided to make a song called Babylon Boy. Hear me no Babylon Boy. Mind how you what touch my Versace kite dearer than your pay. At that time in Jamaica, when that song dropped in the dance, like 2000, it was fireworks. And when I say fireworks, I mean real fireworks. The Babylon Boy, it came out in 2000. It's on the Bounce rhythm, produced by Dave Kelly also. And I think it was a featured track on my first album, my debut album, Wow the Story. It was a double CD. So that's my next pick.
I love that, bro. Now, we're going to get a couple of your big records in the episode, but this third one, I've picked it for you, right? And I want you to talk about this record for me. And it's one that you featured on this record, but I feel like it was joint, and I'm gonna talk about this record with you. Now, the record that I'm talking about, at the beginning, I said to you, I'm a rap guy, right?
Yeah.
You featured twice, I believe, on this album, and the record I'm talking about is
That's my sister. I knew where you were going before you even go there. That's my sister, but different mothers.
Cham, this. My bro, this record, Tables Will Turn. I mean, Spraggle was on the project on the flip side of the vinyl with obviously Oh Yeah with Foxy as well. Yeah. But Tables Will Turn. I mean, I want you to break this record down for me. I want you to talk about what it was like back then working with Foxy Brown, who it was hip hop royalty, you know, and like to have you on there twice on the album. It's a record that I'm sure is powerful in your catalog, even to this day, as for her. Talk a little bit about that time, paint the picture, how it came about, what the record means to you, and let's talk about it, bro.
Tell them a woman we are the friend. Love to see the shorties in a Benz or a BM. All life you're living right. Get the Benjamins right. Let them know I'm on you where the pen. Whoa, I let them know already, and I'm telling them again. We're on another level, Fox Brown. I said the trend well. Heads bopping and colors popping and Prada rocking to the end. Can you feel me? Breaker, call the undertaker. Fools will be dying. Wow, Yo, I'm gonna tell you something. Foxy is a sister, my real sister. I talk to Foxy probably every 2 days. I was just talking to Foxy last night. You know what I mean? She was hitting me up about this sweater that I'm wearing now. She's saying that she needed the full tracksuit, the full Dallas tracksuit for her and her son, her and her daughter. My bad, her and her daughter. And we were there. But when you talk about tables turn, the irony of this now, we talking here, that record was made flying from London to New York.
Okay.
So myself and Dave Kelly went to London to do some work in the studio in London. And on the way from London, we were flying to New York to work with Foxy. Right. And Dave made that beat in the plane. We were in first class and Dave making the beat right on his computer at the time, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we found probably a few lines, just a few lines. And we went in the studio right there, no rest at all. We landed, went straight to the studio. And a lot of people don't know, we had recorded Run Them. That's the second track on Tables, on Broken Silence album. But in the last verse, she said, how many times I got to let y'all know one of a kind, can't mess with mine. And we were like, yo, this line is too crazy. You got to use it back on a different song. Yeah. So that's how we told her to use that same line for the start of Tables Turn. How many times I got to let y'all bitches know why so many bitches want to take my flow? You understand? Too hot, too dope. So it's one of them things where whenever we and Foxy in the studio, and she's the first one that I can remember repping for dancehall and reggae like that from the rap world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was fighting with Def Jam. Def Jam didn't want to drop it as a single, and she fought for that. She did that video out of her own pocket, you know what I mean? So a lot of people in the reggae and dancehall industry don't know. Foxy Brown really not just talk the talk, but put money where it is on. So she walked the real walk. She spent her own money to make Table Turn video. And we had the legend dancer out of Jamaica, Bogle, in the video also. Rest in peace, Mr. Bogle. You know what I mean? Yo, that record on a whole is just a classic. I was performing in Houston and Dallas this past weekend, and when that dropped,
ringing.
It was released probably 6 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now what a day when the tables will turn. What a day when the tables will turn.
It's infectious. It's infectious.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The
So
rhythm.
Big up to Foxy Brown. Big up to Dave Kelly. Because for a dancehall producer to even have that vision to go there, you know what I mean, with the beat, to fuse. Because if you listen it has dancehall elements, but it has hip-hop elements also. And the Caribbean sound from the steel pan. Ping.
Yeah.
At that time, it was way ahead of its time, you know what I mean? And I think that's the reason why up to the day, in every single dancehall, that song has to be played.
And from the moment you and her connected, did you instantly click? Because you were just saying you speak to her to this day, like a sister.
From the moment we connected, we clicked from there, from the very first moment. I think at the time my big record was From You Have a Set and You A Get Where You Forget Say, Que Sera, Bumper Cat, which Jamaicans normally say, Kiss Me Ras, Bumper Clad. That was the record, was my big record, and she came to my concert in, I think it was Connecticut. And they told us that Foxy Brown wanted to come backstage. I'm like, Foxy Brown? What? Yeah, backstage? No. You know what I mean? Yeah, and we connected right there and then, and that's how I knew that I was on the radar of America. You know what I mean? And she started to let me know that she was a big fan of the music, big fan of the works that we were putting in. And ever since then, we just kept a link until she said, you know what, I need you on my album. And I was like, as a matter of fact, I need you on my album. You know what I mean? So we hooked up for my album, so she was on my album first, which was Wow the Story. And then the following year, we recorded Tables Turn and Run Them. And from then, we have always just been best of friends ever since then. You know what I mean? Even when she lost her earring, I was there throughout the whole process, throughout the whole time. And now she's good. She's good now. She's good. She's really happy. She has a documentary coming out that's going to be fire. And she's working on a record also, which is going to be fire. You know what I mean? Yeah.
One of my favorite records, man. So big up both of you for blessing us with that one, because man. It's just one of them, it takes me back.
Classic from a true legend, you know what I mean? Real humble, real cool, real talented. Like, I've never seen Inga really like right. She'll take a line from you and just move with that line, you know what I mean? Like, super talented. And stage-wise, if you see us perform that live on stage, you go crazy. We demolish some place with that record. We demolish so many places with that record, you know what I mean?
Were you always going to have a verse, or were you just down to do the hook, or that's just how did it play out,
No, by right, I was supposed to have a verse. That's how it was Dave Kelly's idea.
Right.
So Dave Kelly kind of structured the song in his head, how he wanted me and her to go at it.
Okay.
And he wanted it to be like dancehall going back and forth with hip hop.
Yes.
And that's how we kind of did it, you know what I mean? Then Foxy's creativity now would even throw your hands up, wild the F out, roll a little kiki, bust the squeegee, and zip it up. She kind of fused that whole hip-hop with dancehall, that slang, you know what I mean? So, Inga is the boss, Inga is the boss. Big up to Foxy, bro. Tables turn. We'll forever live on.
100%, my bro. So let's keep it moving. And now, bro, we're going to get into your influential records, right? So what I do is I hand over to you to talk about, we're going to do 4 selections. I want you to pick, obviously, records that have meant something to you throughout your life, influenced you, the track, the reason why, the story behind it. and these are, you know, things that have influenced you. So we'll jump into your first selection and let's get into it and tell the story, my bro.
And it doesn't have to be my record, right?
It's not your record. These are...
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let me go with number one. Number one would have to be Big It Up, Buju Banton, produced by Dave Kelly. I think that was the first Madhouse record, you know what I mean? And Buju was like, you rule, you want to first, Big It Up. But remember that we were, at the time, I think I was in seventh grade. And every Buju record that came out at the time was a smash. You know what I mean? But we were used to Buju with the big vibes. Me love my car, me love my bike, me love my money and thing. Most of all, me love my brownie. But this record, he was like, you want to big it up, big it. Make a next year reverse. Anytime you come back, me ain't happy idle. Bagel it sweet, and watch the ride. So it was like he was whispering. And to me, that was so fresh. I've never, before that, I didn't hear nothing like that before that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So to me, that was one of the records that made me wanted to do music, like really wanted to do music. And that's when I started to inquire who was the producer that was behind these records. And that's how I found out it was Dave Kelly. And I went to meet him at the time and did an audition for him. And he was like, yeah, you have talent, you can work on your breathing technique, but I don't record schoolers. You have to meet him. He wouldn't record me if I was still attending school. Wow. So I'd have to graduate. And if I came back to him after graduation with proof of graduation, wow, then he would give me a shot at recording for him. I went back to him after that. And after I graduated with proof of graduation, and that's how I got my first number one song. You know what I mean? So he lived up to his word. And I held up to my word by lighting a fire on the Madhouse's record. It took us to the moon, you know what I mean? So yeah, that record did a lot for me. That was the record that made me want to know who was the producer behind it. Because I knew it wasn't just the artist. Because we were used to Buju sounding one way and one way only. And I heard him sounding totally different on this record. And if you listen to that record right now, you get a difference. You know what I mean? Madhouse production gone panta. No pretty girl in a crowd. Like excite, create, let care, stop. That's one of my favorite records of all time from Buju. Big It Up.
Love that. Let's keep it moving. Let's get into your second selection, bro. Same again, your reason why and what you're going with.
I think my second selection would have to go to Bounty Killer. And this would be New Gun. So every DJ in Jamaica was like a girl DJ. You know what I mean? Social commentary. Everyone was like Shabba. Ting-a-ling-a-ling. Dancehall and swing. More like on the female side. And there comes this kid. We were attending school at the same time also, high school. And we heard, me say, him farmer. Yo, watch for me up. You get shot and tag in a bag original wicked bad Bounty Killer say. What I say? Yo, gun big shot, bad boy, a burst, all in farmer. Had them a dead first. But it was the tone and variation that did it for me. Right. He started on this high pitch. Me say. Then he went to, what I say? Yo, gun big shot, bad boy, a burst. I'm like, what? This is crazy, you know what I mean? So New Gun. That song is called New Gun. It's on the Punana rhythm, produced by, I think it was Jammies. King Jammies, who is a legendary producer in Jamaica also. Without King Jammies, you wouldn't have dancehall. You know what I mean? King Jammies is really legendary. And that's where Bounty Killer kind of owned this skill, you know what I mean? So I don't know if the record came out on King Jammies, but I knew that that's where they record.
Got you. And let's keep it rolling. Let's get into your third pick, my brother.
I think the third pick would have to go to Bob Marley. And it would have to be, I think, One Love. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. So in Jamaica, sound systems used to string up early on Sundays. Every community, every ghetto community had one sound system that normally strings up every Sunday. And in the early part of the juggle, meaning the early afternoon, they would play all these older tracks from way before our generation, you know what I mean? And that kind of school us, you know what I mean? So you'd have all the Bob Marleys, all the Dennis Brown, all the Peter Touch, the Jimmy Cliffs, you name those legendary musicians. And this Bob Marley record just always stood out to me because it just made you feel like no matter what was going on at the time in your community, in your surroundings, that it was going to be okay. You know what I mean? And I started watching like the videos and started being more inquisitive. You know what I mean? Started doing my research on him because we were kids. So you heard about him, but you didn't know like the works that he was putting out. And then we found out just by reading and doing research, we found out that he was really fighting for Jamaica to live as one. When they shot him, you know what I mean? They went up by his house and shot him just because he was fighting for the whole the whole community, the whole country to come together as one and not to put political influences in front of human beings, which Jamaica is separated at the time with red and green, socialists and labor right. And he was fighting for them to say, you know what, these are politicians. You can't let politicians come between us and I was fighting against each other. And politicians arranged it for them to go and shot Bob Marley. That's how I even fell in love even more with Bob Marley, with his music. One Love is one of them tracks that always stood out to me.
Big selection, man. Legendary, that one, you know?
Yes, sir.
Let's move on to your fourth and final influential record, Cham. What are you going with? And break it down for us.
I would have to go with Ting-a-ling-a-ling, Shabba Ranks. Ting-a-ling-a-ling. What I'm telling you, Shabba sing, Suckling sing, ting-a-ling-a-ling, yard and foreign kick up, broke wine, sing, ting-a-ling-a-ling, dance all in swing, DJ is cock up when them hear boom rhythm, booyaka, booyaka for Shabba ranking. Yo, that record kind of tear the whole Jamaica apart. The big kick drum that was in it, the big drum, just the old new way of sampling how they did the intro. I've never heard that before as a kid. You know what I mean? And just how easy he made it for us to catch on to it and to sing it. It was like a ring game for kids. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, dance all in swing. You know what I mean? Just easy, because that was really a ring game that we played as kids. Right. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, dance. But we didn't say dancehall, it said ting-a-ling-a-ling, school bell a ring, knife and fork a fight with dumpling. You understand? So he used it and he just captivated the whole, just all the kids, all Jamaica and a whole. You know what I mean? And for what Shabba Ranks stands for reggae and dancehall music and the fight that he came under with his career just for protecting and trying to push dancehall music. That's one of my picks. You know what I mean? Without those records, I don't think I would do what I do today. And those records kind of push me to kind of just keep the standard up, and hopefully I've done my part to keep the standards as high as possible. But those records, big up the Shabba Ranking, the Emperor. Shabba! Big up the stinking Shabba. Yeah.
Love that selection, bro. So, talking of the records that we've picked, we've set the tone, we've got your influential records. We need to talk about this new one, bro, from yourself, right? Record
yes, sir.
Called Lockdown, produced by Mr. Usain Bolt, the Clockwork
legend himself, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the fastest man ever.
Before we talk about the record, you know, I've seen you guys in the studio. I've watched you guys on interviews together. And what I want to ask you is, as an artist, sometimes you can maybe feel a type of way when somebody from a different field, you know, comes into your world and is trying to do something or X, Y, Z. Now, I know from following Bolt's socials, he's a music man. You know, he's in the club.
Day one.
He's a sound man. So yes. To see that progression into him as a producer and the rhythm and his kind of works and where he wants to go. Talk about how that was for you linking up together and the relationship with him. And then obviously, let's talk about Lockdown, my bro, the new record.
Yo, first and foremost, the great Usain Bolt, he has always been a part of the music. You know what I mean? He has always been around the music. So we will be in Jamaica working and promoting in the streets, in the parties, and he would be there with us dancing, drinking, enjoying. And then the next week you would see him breaking records. You know what I mean? So for us, it was natural. You understand? To me, it's a natural transition. He would be there spinning like being a disc jockey. You know what I mean? Right there in the parties with us. And it was fun because a lot of us in Jamaica take it for granted that this is the fastest man in the world that everyone wants to see, wants to take a pic with, but he's there every night with us just partying and chilling and hanging out. So I didn't know that he was going to transition into doing production. But the moment I heard and the moment he kind of linked and said, yo, this is what I want to do, I knew that it was going to be fire because I knew that he had the ears for the music from day one and he had a love for the music, you know what I mean? And entertainment, music and sports is all part of entertainment. We kind of go together, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was easy. I think it's easy for him because he naturally loves music. Yeah. And as far as our chemistry, that came before even the record. Right. We've been hanging out together. We've been friends. I met him when he was probably 16 years old. You know what I mean? This dude by the name of Busy took him backstage in my tent at Reggae Sumfest. At the time, my first album was out, and he told us that USAIN was a big fan. And I was telling him that I'm a big fan. You know what I mean? Because he was just coming out World Juniors, the world record. And I was telling him that I came to CHAMs just to watch him. That's the Boys and Girls Championship in Jamaica. We went there just to watch him. And he's coming down to the concert to say hi. And I'm like, yo, I'm a big fan. You know what I mean? But no one knew that he was going to become this great legend. But you kind of just know that, no, this talent is not no normal talent. And in Jamaica, we kind of push each other and we support each other. You know what I mean? So he was supporting the music from even before he became the GOAT. Till even now he's the GOAT, he's still supporting the music and he's doing a lot. You know what I mean? Lockdown now, the record itself. It was just all my frustrations and everything that we were going through in the pandemic. You know what I mean? The whole lockdown. So as soon as USAIN reached out and said, yo, we got this dancehall beat and it's hardcore dancehall and it would be blasphemy if we had put out a record without CHAM on a dancehall beat. So as soon as I heard it, I reached out and said, yo, I'm ready. You know what I mean? But we wanted to give him a champion. You can't give USAIN Bolt just any record. Nah. You know what I mean? Yeah, especially knowing that he's venturing, he's now transitioning into music from his field that he dominated, which is the athletics field. You want to make sure that when people hear the record, they take it serious and they know that, okay, he's really serious about it. There's no gimmicks. This is the real deal, you know what I mean? So myself and Dave Kelly kind of took probably 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and we got the record right for him, and we got it done, written. We were there, you know, it's a pandemic, so we can't be in the studio together at the time. Right. So we were basically via video calls, and he was giving his inputs. Okay, I like this verse, I like that line. How about you use this at the start, or you know what I mean? So we have to give USAIN his credit. He's not just someone that's an executive producer. He's not just pumping his money into it. He's really invested in it and he's doing his work, you know what I mean? He's learning from the great. He's picking Dave Kelly's brain. He's picking all these producers' brain, these great producers from back then and these musicians. And he knows his history. Because as you said it before, he's really a sound man transitioning into music. Most people look at it like he's an athlete transitioning into music, but no, he's a sound man really transitioning into production, you know what I mean? So big up to USAIN and the whole crew, yo, NG and the whole family. You understand? Can you hear me? Your team lifestyle. We're keeping it lawless. Bang it.
On that record, you know, how's the response been for you? How have you felt about people hearing that from yourself? And, you know, what are people saying? Like, they're taking to it, they're ready to get back to it, see you shut down more shows, you know?
Yo, the record has been fire. Yeah. We have been getting a lot of flack back from the government of Jamaica, but we know how that goes. It's because it's really speaking out on them. You know what I mean? But the record is #1 on almost every dancehall chart throughout the world. In Jamaica right now, it's the most played record. It's a record that whenever this jockey is played on the radio, it's pulled up at least 10 times.
Yeah.
There's this jockey in Jamaica by the name of DJ Wayne.
Right.
USAIN sent me a video clip of DJ Wayne playing that record for at least 36 or 37 minutes. Picture that. You played that one record for 37 minutes or 36 minutes, bro. Over and over and over. He stopped and he break down everything. Stuff that I wasn't even thinking about. He was talking about the soup man that's been affected by the lockdown and dancehall being pushed to the side. Because every other industry has gotten help from the government in Jamaica. Every other industry, except the entertainment industry. And what reggae and dancehall has done for Jamaica, no other industry in Jamaica have done. You know what I mean? They use Bob Marley picture every week. Every single day you look on the tourism board, you see Bob Marley. But yet still Bob Marley don't have his own day in Jamaica. Give the man him day. You know what I mean? But this is the thing that lockdown is talking about. It's not just talking about the whole lockdown. It's talking about how the higher superiors treat people from the lower side of society, you know what I mean? And that's what lockdown is really about. Almost 2 years, we under lockdown. No party, we can't go. Police are crack down. Government say a curfew. Now back down. Any man get catch a road and get pat down. 100 sick. Not dead. Me not get it. Election keep. All them say a pandemic. Me not trust the numbers. Me feel them a edit. So them can't claim say a dancehall a spread it. All people have to stay home because them at least 6 feet apart, them I say, but brother, watch this. Me not see when none of them a do to try stop this. What them want we do? Stay home and just back this. Can't even get to drive out. Me new boom boom. You tell me there on every day and listen boom boom. No man, this would have breed a kukum. Longest me ever go without no boom boom. So I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. We need a little fun before we go back on our work. Dang it!
We're gonna run this new one, CHAM, as well. Now that we're connected, I need to be getting some of these dub plates out here, you know what I mean?
Yo, you're now in the family, bro. In the
Come
family,
on,
whatever you need. Whatever you need. How I think about dubs and connections. When you have these jockeys that are students of the game and you realize you sit and reason with them and they love the music, you know what I mean? You're telling me about some songs that are not normal conversations with this jockeys. So you're family, bro. Believe that. Believe that.
No, I love that.
I'm not new to this. I am true to this. You know what I mean?
You know, what do you want to say to the worldwide audience in terms of what can they expect from yourself coming forward? You know, what have you got in the works forthcoming that you want to let the world know? And while I've got you here, any artists from Jamaica we should be looking out for? Anyone you wanna talk about or anything like that?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say, look out for a lot more production with myself and USAIN Bolt.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Sorry. I want to say the record Lockdown is out now. You can expect a lot more to come. We are now focused on lockdown. But we have some real fire coming after lockdown also. You know what I mean? Some real fire. I want to big up the whole team, Monique and the whole team, Z, the whole team that's behind the scene doing a lot of work in terms of promoting the record. NG, USAIN, Steam also doing a lot of work promoting the record. Make sure if you haven't seen Lockdown video, go and see the video. Make sure you go and stream it. Make sure you go and listen it. Whatever you got to do. Make sure you go and check out Lockdown, produced by the fastest man ever. The transition from sports to music in 9.58 seconds. USAIN Bolt. Dang it! You know what I mean? As far as who I'm listening to and who coming out of Jamaica, you have so many. You have so many talents coming out of Jamaica. I don't want to call just one and the next one feel any way or feel left out. All of these new kids coming out that are fusing the genre, that are really repping for dancehall and reggae music. You need to check them out. You know what I mean? A lot of them, they get a lot of flack for kind of trying to fuse and do different stuff. But for me, it's all about the music and the work that needs to be done. It's never about hype, egos, or individuals. As a creative juices, so you stick to the philosophy of using it to have fun. But I remember when I was just coming up and doing songs like, hands off my property, this is not monopoly, only my girl and she alone can be on top of me. A lot of people, not the fans of the music, but industry gatekeepers. They call themselves industry gatekeepers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were saying that it's like sounding like I was rapping. I wasn't rapping. I was DJing, basically DJing in English, because I realized that I had the biggest song in dancehall, the biggest song in America and in the dancehall and reggae field at the time. But we did at 97 Summer Jam, and this white kid came up to me and was like, yo, I love that song. Man, shit. I don't know what you're saying in it, but that's my favorite track. Man. And he was talking the song Man and Man. Me and them no grounds, man. So me happy frowns, man. Sit them down at town, man. Hook up with a brown man. And to me, I was like, what? If he doesn't understand what Man and Man is saying, and he's saying it's his favorite song, what if he knew what Man and Man is saying?
Facts.
And that's how I started. Every big opportunity came after that. I made sure the world could understand what I was saying. If you listen to Table Turn, that's no coincidence. Tell them how woman we are the love to see the shorties in a Benz or a BM. All life you're living right. Get the Benjamin's eye. It was all English, but you can't mistake my accent. It's from Jamaica. You know what I mean? Breaker, call the undertaker. Niggas will be dying. All English. Just check it out. She is a rebel. She's a stress. So me give her some sex. Y'all stake out my home and I blow up my phone. She want the vitamin S. All English. This is why I'm at. Sold over 6.8 million records. I got my click to the rear of it. Punks live in fear of it. Dudes on the block with them Glock running scared of it. I keep that thing near to me. Don't just appear to me. Never touch my money. No, my money's dear to me. I'm in the club falling in the VIP booth. Shorty staring at me, call the kids so cute. This is why I'm hot. You know it is the truth. You understand?
Yeah.
All English. And I learned that from the great Bob Marley. And the lesson came from that kid coming up to me after at 97 Summer Jam concert. And this concert, I think, was in the New Jersey Nets Stadium, like 60,000 people. And I was like, yo, we ripped it, yeah. And this kid came like, yo, that man, shit, that's my shit. That's my song, but I don't know what you're saying in the lines, but I love it. That's my shit. I'm like, what? You mean that he's loving it? What if he knew what I was saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how I started to like curb the writing technique. So if you listen, get a story. This a survival story. This a true ghetto story. Every word you can understand, every single word. We get the team them, rah, rah. You know what I mean? So yeah. I would have to say that's where it all came from. You know what I mean? Just kind of figuring out how we can make these records being accepted over the world and understand all over the world without watering down the lyrical content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. But I want to say thank you, my bro. It means a lot. And
yeah, man.
We will speak again, my bro, and enjoy the rest of your
I'm not
day.
new to this. I am true to this. Yes.
Love, bro. All right.
All right, brother. Respect. Thanks.